here's how we're gonna do this. Right now you guys should be looking at the background of the ocean. This is our test device, our iPad Pro. And we're gonna do a quick app demo, and then I'm gonna open it up to any user questions, app or web. I can also answer web questions today. Cool, all right, so basic. Oh, before I forget. So I'm doing the web demo today because last week's, 2 weeks ago's webinar was most of the web platform, and that's on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Spectora. Or you can type into the chat bubble, and Alexis is on there right now, so she can answer questions too. But cool, all right. So Spectora.com is where you're going to go to schedule, do your agreements, all that good stuff. The full platform is Spectora.com. I really recommend that you guys use Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge. Microsoft's head of security actually came out with an article today saying that Microsoft is no longer calling Internet Explorer a browser. They're now calling it a compatibility option for people who have not updated their websites. So we all got a good laugh out of that one. So when you're using Spectora.com, make sure you're using a modern browser to be able to view everything. And then we have the Spectora app that's available in the Apple and the Android app stores. We have about a 50-50 split between Android and Apple users. And honestly, both of them have great things and both of them have their bugs and their issues. And so whenever we recommend devices to people, we really recommend that you guys not get a budget device. This is something that you're going to be spending, you know, tons of hours holding and taking care of. So why get a budget device that doesn't have enough power or anything behind it to save a couple bucks when it's just going to break down the road? So make sure the only device specification that we really have is that you need at least 2 gigs of RAM, and RAM is processing power, not memory. So that like 16, 32, everything, that's memory. RAM is how much oomph and power and processing power that your device can handle. And so make sure that you have at least 2. We highly recommend 3, and honestly 4 gigs of RAM would be the best. You guys are professionals, you deserve professional devices, even if they do cost a little bit more. Okay, cool. So we've already downloaded the Spectora app, and I'm using an iPad Pro right here. And so you're not gonna be able to see me touch it with my finger, but I'm gonna try my very, very best to narrate what buttons I'm pressing so that they're not just magically happening on the screen. But if at any time you guys have questions in here or you get a little bit confused about what button that I pressed, feel free to jump on the chat and let me know. Cool. All right, so now I'm going to press the blue Spectora button. It's the one with the house. We're going to open it up. So this is our app dashboard. The app is supposed to be your report writing tool. It does technically have a scheduler, this plus new button that I pressed at the bottom of the screen. Look, I already broke my word. Let's go back to the dashboard. There's a blue plus button at the bottom of the app here. And if we press that, technically we do have a scheduler as part of the app. It's very light right now, meaning that because your app can function without internet, once your reports are loaded onto it and all the templates load onto your app as well, this scheduler does not connect to things like Google Street View or Zillow or the awesome auto calculation of agents that you can get on Spectora.com. So this is more meant right now as an emergency scheduler in case you're out in the field and you get a last minute, you know, inspection and you want to do it just right there. And then you can go in and add all the client data and stuff later. We do have plans in the future to update this and have it be able to ping back and forth and add Zillow and the agent population. But this is your scheduler light. You can do date time, you can select different agreements and templates. If you see the template and the agreements have a tiny little arrow next to them that indicates that they're a drop-down menu. So I can hit that and you'll see an overlay pop up with different templates. you can select as many different templates as you would like for an individual inspection. And so a lot of times inspectors have one template per service. So a residential, a radon, a mold, something like that. So if you do the upsells and you do a residential with radon and sewer, you could potentially have 3 different reports and 3 different templates assigned to an inspection. So you can go ahead and check multiple of these if you want. Same thing with agreements. And we do have auto-populating agreements as part of our business tools. Head back to Spectora.com. Not right now, stay with me, be my friend. But head over on there and there's a bunch of tutorial videos of how to set up your auto-populating agreements and agreement signings. But yeah, you can do multiple agreements too. All right, cancel out of that guy. The only pieces of data that you really need in Spectora to schedule an inspection are a time, a date, an address, and a zip code. So if you're using this scheduler light and you really don't know, the client's name or anything in that moment, you can just wait and add that later, and it doesn't really have any negative repercussions. And also, if you're on an inspection and you don't 100% know the real address, but you know you have to go do an inspection, like the zip code and stuff like that, you can also just put 1234 placeholder Ave on zip code 12345. And so long as those 2 fields are filled out, it'll create an inspection. And then once you're back on the web, you can adjust all that good stuff. Oh, really? Okay, so someone just typed into the chat that it looks like the 2 people in the back were making out, which is hysterical. Distracting, I like it. We work in a communal workspace, like we share our resources. So those are all offices back there. So I don't know about the making out part, but focus, pay attention. Okay, anyway. Totally off my game now. Address, zip code, all that good stuff. Time, date, base price, all of that stuff is adjustable later. Cool. All right, now to get back, I'm gonna hit the 3 bars that are in the top left-hand corner. So if you look across the top blue bar, there's 3 little bars, new inspection, and then the question mark. So I'm gonna hit those 3 little bars, and it's gonna open up my app menu. So we're gonna go back to the dashboard right now. So the dashboard is going to show the inspections that you as an inspector are assigned to for that day. So if you've got multiple, they'll show up. One tip and trick that I tell people about TechSport all the time is that this is a live screen. If I take my finger and swipe down on it, I will refresh it. So that's how I get you guys to refresh the app on TechSport. Okay. So this is going to be your today's inspections. If you want to access a report or an inspection that you did previously on this device, you can go to the saved button, which is in the bottom bottom left-hand corner over here, and hit saved, and it'll pull up all the saved inspections for this device. If I go back to dashboard, I can also do the same thing for all. And all is going to ping up to the server. And these are, you can tell we do a lot of inspections for our office address, 66 South Logan. But it will allow you to pull in and import. This is useful if, say, like I had an inspector this morning ask how to access an inspection on his app that he was technically supposed to do tomorrow, and he didn't want to reschedule it, but he thought he could stop by the house today and at least do the exterior and do some stuff. So he wanted to import, see that little arrow or cloud and blue button that says import with the arrow on it? You can hit that import button and it will bring down that report from the server. So that bringing down from a report from the server or the web is technically the only thing that you need, well, besides saving it back up, you need internet for. So you can download these reports onto your app and then you can leave for the day. And you can wait until you get back to the office on good Wi-Fi or something like that, and you can save them up to the web. And all the data that you're gonna do saving for this inspection is gonna save to your device. So it's gonna be safe in there. Brooke wants to know if she's the only one that can't see the full screen share. Do you mean like you can't see my whole iPad? You should be able to see my face in the corner, a black screen, and then like the middle of the screen should be an iPad. Mark says you can see everything. Cool. All right. If you're having trouble viewing it, Brooke, maybe exit out and then come back in. Try turning it on and off again. Can't see the bottom of the screen. Okay. I am honestly not sure how to help you guys in this moment. And so you can, if Brooke says that she can't see the buttons that I'm talking about on the bottom, if you guys are on a computer, I actually would really highly recommend that you guys pull out the app right now on your phone and move the mouse off the drop down button. It's screen sharing on iPad. There isn't a mouse. Follow along. Okay, Robin, if you can't log into the app, jump on the tech support chat bubble and Alexis can help you out. Okay, I gotta keep going. You guys can type into the chat support bubble at the same time too, right now, and get a little bit of stuff. Cool. Anyway, and I can loop back to these questions later. And I'll put this screen recording up on YouTube later. So if you guys are cut off, you can stop being my friend and watch the video recording later or something. Cool. Sweet. Internet. We covered internet. You need it to bring it down and put it back up, but you can edit on the app without it. Cool. So now we're gonna hit the 3 little bars in the top left corner and we're gonna go back to dashboard. You can also, speaking of the tech support chat bubble, that green little help button at the bottom of the screen will pull up our tech support chat bubble. And that is where Alexis, Mike, Kevin, and I and our support thing live. So that means we are on and ready to go. You can hit new conversation. You do need internet for this part, so I guess I lied about that earlier. You can start a new conversation or commonly missed. There's a see previous right next to it. So if you're already having a conversation with us and you exited out of it, instead of starting a new conversation, you can just hit see previous and continue the other one if you want it. And we have hundreds of help support articles that I update daily. I think I've done 4 new ones today that you can type into the find the answer yourself. We love talking to you, but if you feel like being self-sufficient, you can do that. Cool. I'm gonna hit the X in the bottom top corner. Cool. All right, now into the nitty gritty. I'm going to click where it says 2 p.m. in this bar, and I'm going to open it up. This is the inspection details page within your app. So this is matching the inspection details page on your, on the web version. The top will be the cover photo. This is what pulled in for our address from Zillow, which is funny because it's my perfect example because we do not work in a house, clearly. We work in a common workspace, and so this is not actually a true picture. I will show you in a minute how to replace the cover photo. On here, and you can see on the bottom of the cover page, it says built 1941 and then 10,000 square feet. And so you can, that's also pulled from Zillow and those are also editable, but because those are inspection details, you need to go to Spectora.com to edit those. So the app is a report editor. Changing any inspection details, you need to be on Spectora.com for. And you can just open it up on the mobile browser on your phone too, if you need to change it while you're still on site. Okay, so my client is Alexis, my fellow tech supportee. And my agent for this is Kevin. And Kevin actually used to be an agent, so that works perfectly. One of the cool fun features is if I were to click either the client or the agent right there, it would actually be able to call them, text them, send them an email, depending on what contact information that you have from there. So it's really great for if you're on site and your lockbox code is incorrect or something like that. And speaking of that, actually, you can see that it says lockbox code 123456 on there. I always like to show this because a lot of active users who've been using us for a while don't even know about this. If you put something in the internal notes section on Spectora.com, it will actually show up on your app. So it's a great way to pull stuff like this. So you're not having to go through emails or text messages or stuff like that. So that is great. Yeah, I could click the map button here to open up Google View, Google Waze, something like that. It'll pull up an overlay saying which map function do you want to use. Pay now. If you are in the standard version of Spectora right now, hitting the Pay Now button will, and this is being filmed on February 7th. So if you are watching this in the future, this 1 second chunk here may or may not be true. So the Pay Now button currently will send you to the inspection details page, the client view on Spectora.com. However, in beta right now, we actually partnered up with Stripe to negotiate lower payment processing rates. We got down to 2.75% plus the 30-cent transaction fee. Authorized Guardian Square, most of those are up at 2.9%. So type it in the chat bubble if you guys are interested in testing out Spectora payments. But the cool thing that's being tested in beta right now is if you hit that Pay Now button, it will pull up with one of those cool credit card readers where it reads the numbers for you and you don't have to enter them manually. So that's Mike's latest beta release. Type it in the chat bubble. We can give you more information on that one and tell you how to get the beta version of Spectora if you would like to test it for us. I do always like to make sure that people know that beta is not just where you get the fun new shiny toy first. We expect and appreciate our beta users to actually give us feedback. And the point of beta is you're probably going to find some bugs in there and we need help testing. And so if you would rather have a steady software, don't go on beta, just wait. Usually it doesn't take too long and it'll go public. But if you're willing to help us and be a tester and get the shiny new thing first, ask about being a beta tester. Cool. Will the map feature work with other calendar events or just home inspections? I'm not entirely sure I get your question. The map feature would be displaying the map for this particular address of the inspection. So if I were to hit map, it would show you like driving directions for where you are right now to get to this address. So it's mainly for driving directions of this inspection. What it's gonna do is it's gonna pull up that other app of the map. And so you would be able to enter whatever you wanted in there because you're just using their map function for driving directions. Cool. Okay, if there was an agreement on there, currently I don't have agreements for this test inspection, you could click that no agreements little gray button down there and it would shoot you back up to Spectora.com where you can get your agent or your client, if your client is the person and there isn't whatever. Anyway, you can get them to sign their agreement. We use a checkbox type signature. It's covered by federal e-sign law, so it is a valid signature. Good to know. All right, so you can see that I have added several different reports for this inspection, a residential report and a radon inspection. And then for each one, there's a summary button. There's also an orange save and sync button. If you look at the little clouds that are next to sync and save, you can get the cheat for what they do. Save will push information up and sync will pull information down. Sync will also save up, but that's what's gonna pull the new information down from the server. And what you guys don't know behind the scenes is that on Spectora.com, I have actually added another report, a third report. And now, because I have opened up my app for the day, I need to pull down that new information onto my app. So the basics for that, because I didn't really explain it well the first time around, is when you open your app for the first time during that day, it will pull in all the inspections and all the reports for that day and build them onto your app. After that initial build, you need to manually pull down information. So say you notice that you have an incorrect report template assigned to this inspection, or you made template changes and you had to regenerate your report on Spectora.com, then you can hit this sync button and it's going to re-trigger all that new information to get what's on the server to match what's on your app. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit this orange sync button with the down arrow. And it's gonna prepare the data and it's gonna think about it. And then it's gonna think about it some more and make me be awkward. So now you'll see that I actually have 2 different residential reports on there. And so that's how I would pull new data down. Just while we're on this screen, if I click the More Options toolbar and open it up, you can also access the Help Center. Edit inspection details is going to push you back up to Spectora.com on your mobile browser, where you will be linked back to this inspection details page. So say if the client wants to give you another phone number or something, you would be able to do that with internet connection. Cancel. You can view the report. That's going to send you to Spectora.com. And you can publish. What publish does is that it saves everything up to the server, and then it will trigger the report ready email that you have set up on Spectora.com to go out to the clients and the agent. And so you would need internet to publish to the client, which makes sense because you got to send an email. For sync all data, if you tried saving in an area of bad connection and some things didn't make it up, you can always hit force sync all data, and what that's going to do is take all of the information on the app. It's going to send it up to the server, make sure that they're matching, and put them together. So it's like pressing a giant equal button between the server and the mobile. Because you're doing it from the mobile side, you need to be a little bit careful with this one, because if you made any changes on the server after, this will overwrite it. I can explain that more. It's a little bit complicated, but force sync all data is basically going to take your mobile and say, I want this to be the server version, and shove it up. Delete from device. This is a common question that I get on tech support. So because when you're doing an inspection, the data is saving onto the app, the comparison parallel that I like to say is that every once in a while you need to delete reports off of your device. So long as they're safe on the server, you can always get them back on the device and they're safe on the server. But it's like running with books. If you're running with 2 or 3 books, you're going to run pretty fast. But if you're forcing the app to run with 30 books, you might encounter some productivity issues some issues with performance. Because you're having it carry a heavy load while it's running. So make sure that every so often, once you know that the reports are safe up on the server, you can delete some from the device, or I can show you in the app settings where to go, and you can just reset the app's memory. So that works. Cool. I'm gonna hit cancel. All right, now we're gonna go in, and if I hit residential report, it's gonna open it up. If I want to replace the cover photo, all I would do is hit that very top section, update cover report. And I would hit it and I would say, no, I want to take a photo. Do you guys want to see my super intense setup? It's crazy. Yeah, there's way too many things. Okay, so we're going to do an inception photo. And I'm going to put my iPad back down. And I'm going to say I want to use this photo. And I've now updated the report cover photo for this inspection. All right, inspection details page. This is the sections list. So the sections are your largest groups of information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the inspection details page, that very first one. Now I'm into the middle grouping of data, the items. I've got general and I've got general house photos. If I click the top one, general, it's going to put me over to the actual comments. So green would be information, orange would be limitations. I only have information and limitations because inspection details is a information only. There aren't defects, right? It's just information. So we'll get into showing you defects. Onto a question on the chat. Does the delete from device delete one or delete all the reports? Can you batch delete? If you do more options and then delete from device, it's just that report or just that inspection that you're in. In settings, you can reset app memory to reset all of them. So we don't have a middle option of like being able to select here, 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 and delete. So you can delete one or you can delete all. Cool. Sweet. So I'm actually going to, we'll do it this way. All right, we've got my first question you see is in attendance. And apparently test roof and test floor is in attendance. So we're gonna change that one. All right, in attendance, I'm gonna say that the client is there and the client's agent is there. And all I'm doing is clicking the multiple choice questions. If there's a third thing that's in here that you would like to add to have reflected in the report, or just another option, doesn't have to be number 3, you would hit that grayed out other button. So if I hit other, I'm gonna add a new value. There was a dog there, you know. You'll see that this save to template option is gonna pop up. So if you're on site and you're making a one-off comment, but you're like, actually I've been, you know, at a lot of houses with dogs lately, and I want that option to be in there instead of having to do a one-off comment, I can hit save to template and then save new value. And now when I save this report up to the server, it's gonna save it up to the template. Otherwise, all the one-off comments that I'm doing in this report will only be for this report. So yeah. Okay, other options. Now, first button here is going to be the flag. So the flag, excuse me, I'm gonna cough. Okay. Flag is an inspector facing only feature of there is something about this comment that I would like to return to. So it's a reminder for the inspector to be able to go through and remember this. Location, which is next on my list. If I click location and pop it open, here are all my location tags that I can add for it. Say, I mean, for an attendance, it seems a little silly to be showing you this, but whatever. So where did we meet them? I mean, we met them on the first floor kitchen, and then hit save. However, if there is something that's not a part of your preset buttons that you would like to add, you can always tap that use buttons or tap here to edit line, and it will pull up your device's keyboard to say front yard. And you can also manually enter it. So the buttons are not mandatory, they're just a little helpful cheat sheet. And then I can save location. Copy, which is next in my list, will duplicate this comment. And so say that if there's multiple people and you want to list it, or if there's 2 roof defects, something like that, you can hit that copy button and duplicate the comment. If I'm gonna go down to occupancy, so the comment right below it, if we hit occupancy, didn't mean to do that, and we go furnished, if I wanted to delete and use the 4th button in the front row, I could just hit delete and delete it. And just to confirm, I deleted it off this report. I did not delete it off of your master template. These comments are only for this report attached to this one inspection. Cool. Okay, next on the list, photo. I kind of already used this, but if we hit the plus photo button, and this is the huge time saver, is I can actually, there is a zoom feature on the side here that a lot of people don't know about. It's on the left-hand side. You can see me moving the bubble. So you can use that to zoom in. On the upper right-hand side, man, left and right is hard today. You can turn the flash on or off, or to auto. You can rotate front-facing. That was terrifying. You can do front-facing. Hitting the circle will obviously take the picture. Or there's actually a cancel button in the bottom right-hand corner where you can get out if you're like, nah, I don't want to take a picture of that. So I can hit that. And then you're gonna have this retake on the bottom left and use on the bottom right. That ability to take picture or video, which is the next one over, and do it on site, make your annotations on site, there's an annotator option on here, is what makes Spectora so great for our inspectors. The majority, vast majority of our inspectors use the app and finish 95% of their report on site. We love hearing that inspectors are getting time back with their families and evening back at your families, because you're not on site and then having to go back to your home and your office to drag all those pictures in. The average that I hear back from our inspectors is that we save about 1 hour per 1,000 square feet throughout the entire inspection process, so like scheduling and agreements and stuff like that, but an hour per 1,000 square feet, and that is pretty awesome. Cool. You can also do video. That's the next button. If you're taking video through the app, it will allow you to do 30 seconds of video. You can also later upload videos 25 megabits or less into there. That reason being, if it's longer than 30 seconds or bigger than 25 Ms, then honestly, we're not going to be the best video processing thing for you, and you probably need to put those up on YouTube. They've just got it covered for data storage, streaming, all that stuff. It's pretty complicated as it turns out. So 30 seconds through the app, or 25 M when you pull it in on the desktop or from your gallery. And then past that, you can put a hyperlink to that YouTube video within the report, since we have web reports and they can click it and view the longer video. Cool, great for like sewer scope videos that usually are like 10 minutes or more. Cool. All right, next, gallery picture and gallery button for video over here. Also pretty cool is that per video or total? Per video, yeah, so you can have multiple videos in there. If you really wanted to, you could shoot like 5 30-second videos and do it that way too. Yeah. Cool. Gallery. If you have a photo in your gallery, I'm already excited for this. If you have a photo in your gallery that you would like to bring into the reports, say a diagram of one of the defects or a picture you've already taken and you want to pull it in, what I would do is I would hit the gallery button and then select either the major camera roll or from the collections or albums. Now, when you take a picture, if you have backup to gallery turned on within our app, and I'll get to that in your settings and here in just a little bit. The way it works is we save the photos or your videos to your device's gallery in case you want to back it up to say the cloud later or something like that. So you have a copy of it that's not just in the report. We create an album so that you can see all of the photos and videos for that one inspection without having to be like, oh, was that roof picture from this inspection or this inspection? So there's a whole bunch in there. But for these purposes, I'm going to camera roll and I'm going to scroll because this is the funniest defect of all time. And then I'm going to select it. And if we go into attendance, this is my favorite picture of all time. So we were at Inspection World in San Diego, and this is Kevin. He's one of our founders, and we jokingly keep on taking pictures around the booth to show people how the app works. And Alexis, one of our tech support gals, decided to make Kevin's man bun a defect, and I can't stop laughing at that one. John Jefferson just wrote in that it'd be nice if I were able to see where your mouse is clicking, maybe next time. Unfortunately, my mouse is my finger right now. I just hit myself in the face. I'm clicking around on an iPad right now. So I don't have a mouse to show you in this moment besides my finger. If I do a web demo, like I'm sure one of the questions, and once we get to the user Q&A area, you'll be able to see my cursor. But yeah, right now I'm clicking around an iPad with my finger. Cool, okay. So that's the best man bun of all time. Or a man bun defect picture, at least. Cool. What I just did, also, each one of these comments, there's a little arrow, and now you can see I've got 2 pictures attached to this comment, and you can click into the comment. You can change the title, you can change location, you can change the default text that's in here, you can bold, italics, underline. This little drop will give you different colors if you want that in the report. The link will enable you to hyperlink something. There's numbers, bullet points, and then this eraser one. If you're copying and pasting from something else, say the internet, it might not be in a font that we recognize. And so if you copy and paste something in here, make sure you hit that eraser. And what that does is it clears format. So yeah. If you make any changes to this comment and you want to save it for later, you would hit that save to default template, name, text, recommendation, category, whatever. You can choose to flag it or not. Then if you take a picture and you decide, let me close my keyboard. If you take a picture with the app and you decide that you want to later go back and annotate it or view it to make sure you got what you wanted to, you can open up this comment and I can actually click into the picture. And that's how I zoomed in on Kevin's face right there. Within the photo annotator, and I can show you here in a minute how to pull that up automatically. It's very easy. You take your finger, and right now I have the arrow selected. That's the default. And the colors on the side are actually going to match whatever type of comment they're in. So since this is an informational comment, it's going to default, excuse me, to the orange. That was terrible. That color is green. Sorry. So it's going to default to green for informational comment, then blue for maintenance item, orange for a recommendation, red for safety hazard, and then white is just another option if you want it. So if I take my finger, I'm going to draw with my finger, and I can draw it, and before I release, I can choose the arrow. I can also do a red square or an orange circle, and I'll turn it around. This is why we don't do it this way, and like I do the screen share is because this is terrible and awkward. Okay, if I want to do a red one, that's all I'm doing is dragging my finger across. Cool. Other options on the top, there's a brightness adjuster. You can also rotate the photo. There's a trash can at the bottom. You can scrap it. The little speech bubbles will allow you to add a caption to it that will display with the picture. I do want to be clear, we don't have a text overlay. This is a plugin that we use, so we don't have control over that. So we can't have text on the picture within the app, but you can add a caption to it. Then the way I'm going to save these new annotations is there is a check marks in the bottom right-hand corner, and I'm going to hit the check mark and open it up. Cool. You can also take and add more pictures and videos here on the bottom. Cool. What else? There's 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner that will get you more comment options. Can you move the arrows? Yes. If I touch it, it will select it, and you can, well, I have to deselect it. Yes, you can. It's much easier on the report editor, and I'm under pressure on the app. But yeah, you can touch and add the, or change where the arrows are. Type it in the text part tableau, and we have, I'm just gonna keep saying that, we have great articles and videos about how to do it on the app and on the report editor. Cool. Sweet. 3 little dots, upper right-hand corner. It's right underneath where my battery is displaying to follow along. If I click those, you can also select actions. I can duplicate this comment, I can delete it, or I can get to the help button. So that's also a way to duplicate or delete. Cool. Again, I cancel out. Now I'm gonna use the back arrow that's in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm gonna back out. I can also, sneaky tip and trick, if you look at the very, very bottom, I'm sorry, Brooke, I know you can't see it. There's sections, inspection details, and then general. There's your options to show you the trail of what sections you're in. So if you don't want to hit that back button 4 times to get back out to the sections, I can also just hit the sections button at the very bottom, and now I'm back to the sections. So it lets you jump, not have to hit those extra clicks. Cool. Now, because we flagged that comment, it's going to flag this section, and then if we open it up, it's also going to flag the item that it's in. So you can follow those flags to see where your flagged comment was, so that we can go back and check it out later. Little tips and tricks. If you swipe left, and I realize I'm mirrored in this second, so trust me that it's left, on general house photos, so I'm going to swipe to my left. You can also duplicate or delete, and that's how I would delete an entire section or an entire item. Cool. So I delete that. Now, you'll see that undelete comes up. When you're on a device, sometimes you butt delete stuff. It happens. And so we wanted to make sure that you guys don't panic and have a heart attack. So anytime you delete something within a report, or even delete a report off of an inspection, it's recoverable. We created this undelete after way too many panic attacks and yeah, heart attacks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit this undelete items, and then it's gonna pull up on the bottom all of the restore deleted items, all the things what we've already deleted. So I can hit general house photos, and it's gonna pull up, and now it's back, and phew, I didn't lose my general house photos that are vitally important to my inspection. Okay, all right, I'm gonna back out. Now we're in the sections. If there are other sections that you wanna bring in, you can hit the plus section button on the bottom. This is also available for items and creating new comments. The sections and the items, however, if you have optional sections and items like pools or garages, something that's built out in your template, but it's not included in every report, you would hit this plus add section and say, oh, I do have a garage. And I would hit that garage section, and now I have a garage in this report. So it's the optional sections. If I hit that plus new section, say if, I always say I'm gonna think of better examples, but I really never do. If the house has two distinct roofs, I don't know, and you would like to have two roof sections, you could hit that roof, and now I've duplicated the roof section. I could also swipe and duplicate it that way. So there's two different ways, or delete the entire section. Okay, I'm gonna click off of that. Cool. Other little tips and tricks. You'll notice at the very, very, very bottom, there's now a 3% green line on there. There's actually a progress bar, and that tracks how many of your informational comments, your green comments, you have completed for the entire inspection. So you kind of have a fun little visual of, oh, I'm 75% the way through, or something like that, or 3% in this case. Okay, now we're gonna go into a section that actually has defects. So we're gonna go into my roof, because why not? And we're gonna go into coverings. And so now you will see that I have all 3 comments on here. There's a couple different ways, and I'll show you real quick here in a second. If you have item ratings, that grid of buttons, the inspected, not present, defect, or whatever you call your 4th category, something like that, those would be displayed over the top informational comments. I'll show you that in a sec. Cool, so now we go down into defects, and you've got all your pre-canned defects in here. Say I've got discoloration. You'll notice for the defects, you have an added category if you have your price estimator turned on in your Spectora settings. So I could estimate how much I want for this inspection, or to recommend for this price estimate for this repair. It's a range, so you need to choose both sides. But now we have a price estimate. There you go. You can choose to not even have that if you don't like it. I know a lot of inspectors are very, very against that. Cool. So now we're gonna take a photo, and we're gonna take it, and we're gonna use it. And in my Spectora app settings, I have pull up the annotator automatically in defects. Quits a little, or takes a couple clicks away from entering the comment and having to do it in there. So I can just do my comment right there. Cool, that's fun, makes it faster. The other additional button, just got outsmarted by a device stand, doing well. The other option that you see, this green highlighted button, so that's actually your defect severity. Flat rubber roof, gable roof. Oh, Chuck, were you trying to help me with like how many roofs you have? Cool, perfect. You're so smart. Okay, so back on track. That was me, I gotta focus. So that orange category is the toggleable, that's a hard word to say, defect category. So your defect category is your severity rating. So you can choose to have it be a major safety hazard. You can click it again and have it be a blue maintenance item category or an orange recommendation category, and it will pull whatever defect category you have selected in your template already. But if you're on site and say this discoloration, I have no idea that this would be a thing, but all of a sudden your discoloration is safety hazard worth, then you could toggle it and have it for this report be a safety hazard rated defect. So that's why that extra option is in there. Okay, limitations. I get a lot of questions on those, so I always like to cover them. Limitations are limitations to your inspection. And so it would be like there's snow on the roof, so I can't inspect the roof. Something like that. Or I can't see the water heater, the basement is filled with stuff. Joe wants to know, how many different defect options are there for the defect rating? We have 3 right now, the orange, the blue, and the red. We did a huge, gigantic poll and agent focus group, and they determined that their favorite ratings defects were having 2 safety hazards and recommendations for repair. They generally didn't want DIY and stuff in there, and any more than 3 became too confusing. So we went with the agents, and we went with 3. I only have major safety hazard and recommendation. Cool. In your template, you can select to only have the 2. You don't need to have the 3. You can have 1, 2, or 3. Cool. Yeah. Well, you can only have 3. But if you have item ratings on, you can have up to 8 of those if you feel like being crazy and creating that grid and having it be complicated. Up to you. Cool. We did limitations. Ooh, something we haven't covered yet. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the sections. This was a wildly requested feature, and we do take agent and support staff feature requests. Having global search within a report to make clicking in and clicking out not as necessary. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner, there's a magnifying glass. If we click that magnifying glass, we are now opening up the global search. This is going to search within the titles and the text within your comments and search for certain words. So that, say you're inspecting the exterior, but you want to make a comment about the plumbing or something like that. Instead of having to go back out to the sections and back in and find it and search and stuff like that, I don't know, I'll use the word pipe. Typing in the word pipes, apparently I only have 1. There we go, pipe is better than pipes. And it will pull every comment that has the word pipe in it. Another funny story, we were in San Diego and I typed in the word crack and somebody took a picture of somebody's butt. That's just funny. Inspectors have a sense of humor. Cool, anyway. So you can also sort by, if you want the green, info or limitation or defects. And so you can search only your info comments, only your limitations, only your defects to really narrow it down even more. If you're within a section or an item already, say in plumbing, but you want to expand your search everywhere, you would hit the globe that's in the upper right corner to expand it to a global search. Or I'll show you an example. If I'm in roof and I click into it, now you'll see along the top, it says I'm searching the roof. And so if I want to do pipe, there's obviously no pipe in the roof. So I'm going to hit that global and expand it. So it gives you a little bit more options. Okay, we're going to go back. That is kind of the basics of how to edit a report on there. Oh, I guess there's one thing we haven't covered. A huge, huge benefit of being able to edit and put the pictures in there on site is that you'll see we have these summary buttons. It's a great wow factor for your clients and your agents to stand with you at the final walkthrough, and you can click on that summary and see all of the defects that you just found and listed. We live in an instant gratification society, unfortunately. And so, but being able to show them the work that you've just done instead of saying, I will show you the report later, is a huge wow factor, and the agents really, really love it. Plus, the clients have an expert, you, on site to ask questions to. So that's great. And you can see that this comment has a hyperlink in it. Here is a helpful article thing. Cool. All right, we're gonna go all the way back out now. Oh. If we wanted to save this now up to the server, I would hit save and send it up. Cool. There's a couple other options for saving, which we will get to now. So I'm gonna hit the 3 little lines in the upper left corner and open them up. New inspection will get me that basic scheduler. Saved inspections will have me see all the inspections that are saved to the device. Inspections will show you all of the ones that you have from the server, so you can pull in any one you want. Then important, we get to settings. This is where, if I ever tell you to log in and out of the app on tech support, this is how you get to it. You log out with a button on the top. Enable chat bubble. We had some inspectors who don't want the chat bubble popping up with notifications and stuff like that when they're on inspection. Completely understandable. So if you want to disable the chat bubble, make me very sad, don't ever be my friend again, you would disable it there or re-enable it. Cool. You can enable the flashlight. Having that will create a little button in the bottom toolbar when you're in the report editor that has a little flashlight, and you can click it on or off to use your device's flash. Enable gallery camera. I'm going to enable both of those and I'll show you what it means. It would give you another little cheat button, and instead of having to take a picture directly into a comment, you could click that little camera icon and it will pull up your device's normal camera, and you can click and point and shoot and have them save into a gallery. And then later you can pull those pictures into whatever you want using the plus gallery button. Cool. Search comments, you can change whether or not you want that for titles or text. Sorry, titles only for the text, that's for the global search. Live saving. I only recommend doing this if you have a device with good battery life, to be honest with you, and you're in an area with good reception. Live saving enables you to choose the frequency that it will automatically save for you. It's great for CYA of pushing stuff up, particularly if you drop your iPad off the roof or something before you've hit save. But this will do the frequency of pushing it up. The more frequent you have these saves, the more battery you're going to use because you're asking it to do more things. You can also choose on demand only, and it will only save when you hit that save button. Okay. Photo settings, back up to gallery. That's if I take a picture within the app, it's going to go to the device's gallery. Save annotated images. You can choose whether or not you would like to have your annotated images saved or just the flat background or the originals. Quality, you can choose what quality of picture you like with this sliding bar. I recommend 2/3 of the way. It's a good resolution where the client or the agent is going to be able to zoom in and out, but it's not going to be so high in resolution that it's going to be super data intensive to save it up. The higher the quality, the heavier the picture is my best way to describe it. Auto annotate. That is what you want the annotator to automatically pull up from when you take a picture in the app. And so you can say, no, I don't want any annotator. I will go in if I need it and click into the comment. Or I only want it for deficiencies. I don't have a reason to create an arrow for an informational only comment. Or you can select all and that'll pull up the annotator for everything. App version is a good way to see if you're on the latest version of our app. It will display a tagline down there that you're not up to date, and you'll be able to update it. And then you can see the changes in the last update. And then this is the reset app memory that will wipe all of the saved reports from this device. So once they're safely up to the web and the server, and you make sure that all of your information is up there, and you have published to the clients, instead of having to go through and delete all the inspections and reports one by one, which again would not do anything to the data on the web or the server. Rick, I'll answer here in 1 second. You will be able to hit reset app memory, and it's just going to clear all those out. You can re-import and do that kind of stuff. But yeah, that is going to clear it out. All right, to get into settings was the question. How did I get here? The 3 little bars in the top left-hand corner open up the menu, and settings is second from the bottom. So you open that guy. Where do I click to get those? Cool. Brian wants to know, as it relates to saving the data, I use multiple devices while inspecting, and some data gets lost while saving and syncing, usually the serial numbers. Yes, actually, we have a couple data points that will help you have that not happen. Type it in the tech support chat bubble. It's a little bit hard to one-on-one troubleshoot an experience that you're having on a tutorial video. So type into Alexis on tech support when you're done with this, and I can help you. Rick wants to know on what screen. Anywhere from the app will have those 3 little bars in the top corner. So you can go dashboard. It's from the dashboard. Click into it. So from the dashboard, you've got 3 lines. Open it up, settings. Cool. Spectora.com will kick you up to Spectora.com. Okay. I think that is my full mobile demo. It took way longer than I expected, but we still have an hour for user Q&A. I'm going to ask that we do user Q&A still on the chat because having you guys, it depends on how good your microphone is, and we would probably have technical support issues with trying to get people's microphones linked up and stuff like that. So it's just going to be easier on the chat. So I have prepared a couple of FAQs for people just tuning in. But what questions do you have? I guess let's start with, do you guys have any questions about the mobile app first? And then I'll exit out of that screen share, not this meeting, you guys can stay on here, but I will switch from showing you the app to the websites. So does anyone have any questions about the mobile app? And I'll look at my handy dandy notes here while you guys are typing and see if there are options in here. I think in my notes, the only thing I didn't cover is the app is per inspector. Support staff don't have an app. We may change that in the future, but right now it's just the report editor, so only inspectors have access to it. And you will only see the inspections that you are assigned to as an inspector. So if you have something on the web and you can't see it on the app, chances are you're not assigned to it as an inspector. All right, you said about auto saving and is memory drain. I thought about adding other times like hourly. Okay, check. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Auto saving doesn't drain memory, it would drain battery. So your devices that you're using, yes, it will take up some memory, but it's not like one report is going to kill your entire storage of your device. Auto saving will send the data on the app up to the server or up to the web. And so auto saving is going to drain battery life because you are asking it to push up and continually be doing stuff. Your options for auto saving, if I go into settings, are 15, 30 seconds every minute, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, or on demand. So we don't have hourly, quite honestly, because if you're doing it hourly, you would probably do it on demand instead. Frequently, if you have good reception, I see people do it every 15 minutes, and that's not a very big battery drain because that's a pretty easy push up, because all it's pushing up every time are the changes that it's made since the last save. And so it's just gonna save what you've done in that last 15 minutes. Oh, which I guess is a good note. If you have a more frequent save, it's going to be an easier load to push up. It's pushing up 5 pounds every time instead of pushing up 50 pounds at the end. So if you do manually save only at the end, it might take a little bit longer, but usually on good Wi-Fi, it's just a minute or two. Cool. How many inspections on the app? Let the app run well. Should we clean it up from time to time or just leave prior inspections be? Nope, you should not leave all of your inspections on there. I personally recommend doing it at the end of every week. If you're a full-time or part-time inspector, that's going to be, what, 3 to 10 inspections per week. Once you get above 15, that's kind of the threshold of apps or of reports saved onto the app. 15 is where your app starts acting a little slow. The responses are going to be a little bit slower, pulling from the gallery is going to be slower, stuff like that. So I actually recommend doing it once a week, cleaning it up, getting refreshed for the new week. Most inspectors do it about every 5 to 7 reports. I do know some inspectors who save on the app and push it up to the web, and then once they get done for the day and go to open their app for the next day, they delete it then. So it's really up to your preference, but somewhere between 5 and 15, you need to go through and delete it. Please go over the gallery function again. iPhone, please show how it creates an album in photos. Cool, I can do that. All right, 3 little dots, or 3 little bars in the upper left-hand corner. Now I'm gonna go to dashboard. Now I'm gonna open up the inspection details. I'm going to hit residential report. Going to click into roof. Oh, by the way, I never showed you this. Do you remember in settings when I turned on flashlight and gallery camera? They're now in the bottom left-hand corner. So I can hit that camera and it'll open up the normal devices camera or the flashlight, and that's gonna turn on the flash. So that's where those go. Okay, we're gonna go into coverings. Gallery. The gallery button is the 3rd one on the 2nd row. So if I hit gallery, these are all past inspections. You'll see that it has the date and the address of the inspection. So it's gonna create an album if you have backup to gallery enabled. If you don't have backup to gallery enabled, you won't see any new albums or anything like that. But it's gonna create an album for every inspection and every date on there, so you can tell those apart. If it's just in your camera roll and not actually in a previous inspection, you would just click camera roll and open it up. Cool. Cool. Make sure I don't lose anybody's chats. I love that you guys came prepared. Photos saved in the gallery have location detail. We do on our end. They have the timestamp, the location tag, geolocating, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty user intensive to put it on your side, and a lot of times it's confusing. So if you do take a picture and you would like that IP address or that geostamping, let us know and we can give it to you. Hopefully you never get in a situation where you need to prove where a picture is taken, because usually that's a lawsuit. But we can show you the geostamping. If you want to add it and have it be a part of every single report, there's a couple great apps out there for timestamping. Unfortunately, I don't think Android or Apple have timestamping on their devices' pictures anymore. So yeah. What is the timeline for the app functionality similar to the website? Whew. Timeline for functionality and development is always a tough question. Right now in developing, we are doing a couple major constructs, is the word I'm choosing in this moment, projects that will basically give us all the functionality of ISN. Obviously doing it Spectora style, user-friendly, that kind of stuff, but expanded email, stuff like that. We expect to have that project done and released to the public at the end of Q1. Because these have been multi-month developmental projects, we don't actually know what we're going to do next. We have a whole Trello board of feature requests on there, and we're actually, very exciting, in the process of interviewing and hiring for another developer to help lighten the workload, because we are working, Tyler and Mike, pretty hard. So the timeline for more app functionality, I do think it's very high on the list after we get those further expansion of our business platform out there. Cool. And while we're on it, 360 photos. Yes, we've had a huge demand for 360 photos. They're strangely code intensive to add them in here and have that functionality, but we are going to do it. We will get that done for you. Cool. Global search option you mentioned, is it also within deficiency and limitation sections? Yes. Yeah, you can choose whatever. So if we go to coverings, and I just clicked that little magnifying glass, so now I'm in global search. Trying to think of a word that would be in everything. If I do crack, I've got the red defects. If I do, I cannot think of a word that would be both in informational and defect in this moment. I don't know, I'm gonna choose the word and be a crazy person. Okay. Easier than think of a real thing. Okay, do you see how the first line is red? That's a defect. Then I can go into the green highlighted ones are informational items. That's a defect again. Green, defect, informational. So now if I know I don't want to do an informational item and it's a defect that I'm looking for, if I click defect up at the top, oh, I just deselected it. Sorry, I would click info and deselect it, or limitation and deselect it. Now I only have the defects in there. So that's pretty cool. You're welcome. Do all iPads have flash? I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I believe so, but to be honest with you, in the past couple years, Apple has taken their line of iPads and products two different ways: professional standard and budget friendly. And the budget friendly one have all sorts of weird cutouts, like they might not have flash. I think they all do, since they all have cameras. But I would highly, and I cannot stress this enough, please don't go with a budget device. You're a professional. Get a professional grade device. It will pay itself off, even with our app, without our app. Get a professional device. Saving a couple $100 will save you a lot of headaches. And most of the time, honestly, that I see people get budget devices, they break pretty quickly or don't have enough RAM, that processing power I was talking about, to actually function as an app or an iPad. And so, and Android has a couple budget friendly ones too, or yeah, budget friendly. And they're not great, guys. I love you. They're not great. They're not worth saving the money. It's going to be so much time and trouble for you. Cool. And that's just my 2 cents. So you can choose to completely ignore that if you want. As long as you guys have 2 to 3 gigs of RAM, you'll be able to use Spectora. Peter asked, where do I find this? The Flash? Well, that's a weird question to me, to be honest with you. If I hit the button in the bottom left-hand corner, I just turn on the flashlight and that's the Flash. Otherwise, it would be in your device's camera. Yeah. Oh, where do we find defects? Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. I was like, where do you find the Flash? Okay, so for defects, you would scroll to the bottom and do defects. If you have classic ratings, I should show you guys that. One of my reports that I have on here, that top report, I don't know, I need to tell you that. I have classic ratings turned on. This is what it would look like if you had the inspected, not present defect. If you're using classic ratings, these buttons will dictate which comments you see, so it takes away some scrolling. So if I go into, say, normal operating, I'm only seeing the informational comments because inspected is selected. If I hit non-inspected or not present, because that means that there was a limitation to my inspection, you only get the limitation ones. And if you can't see the defects, you hit the D, that last one, and you'll be able to get informational and defects, because if you found a defect, it means you inspected it. But those are the only 2 categories that you'd be able to see. So less scrolling, but less customizability. We created the custom, which is what I did the demo on. The customizability, because there were so many situations like we often have in Colorado, that there's snow on the roof, so you can partially inspect. So you weren't able to do that previously with not inspected, because it was both inspected and not inspected, that there was snow on the roof. You could do a partial inspection. So that's why we created custom ratings. Some people really like the classic ratings too. It's up to you. What type do most users lean to, classic or custom? I'm going to say that like 65 to 70% of inspectors are custom. Classic, what's my political way to say this? A lot of inspectors who like the classic rating system came from other softwares that were less user-friendly, where there was a lot of scrolling and a lot of clicking, and they have developed a fiery hatred for clicking and scrolling, unlike I've ever seen before. And so classic is good if you hate scrolling or clicking. And like I totally get, like I'm sassing a little bit, but I do totally get that like you guys do hundreds of clicks in an inspection, so cutting down like from 9 to 3 of them is life-changing in saving time. So there was a bit of sass there, but like, yes, I do understand that clicking is intensive for you guys. So yeah, like 65 to 70% are custom. And you can also have these rating systems in custom. You don't have to not have them, but you can have up to 8, and you can have name them anything you want. So yeah. And if that was confusing, because it's confusing to explain honestly every time without screenshots, we have articles in the Help Center that can lay out exactly the difference between classic and custom. How do I get to those ratings? On the app, it would be if you have them turned on, they're within the item or the section. If you choose to use them or not, they would be in the templates. They're a per template setting, and I can switch over here in a second here and do Spectora.com instead of the app. But it does take me a second to switch back, so it's kind of easy to, or not easy to switch back and forth between mobile and web. So I'll show you where to get to those ratings here in a second, Peter. Can you set it up to not automatically select inspected? Yeah, yep. Okay, it kind of sounds like we need to switch over to Spectora.com, so I'm not just vaguely saying I'm gonna show you something later. So before I switch off of this mobile screen share, can you link yourself? Can you yourself link the ratings? No, there's too much code involved. So if you're using custom, it's unlinked. All right, cool. We're gonna switch over to the web. You guys are asking a lot of web questions now. I can switch back to mobile again at the end, or I can show you in screenshots and stuff. And so I am going to, real quick, my face is gonna get so big, please don't judge. Stop this share. What? There's over 30 people on here, guys. I've got so many friends. All right, open it up. Cool. Okay, 1 minute to reorientate myself. Stretch it out. We are now on Spectora.com. Business tools, all that good stuff. Okay, oops, I'm gonna pull up your, where'd my chat go? Participants, tech support, chat, found it. Okay, whew, that was good, close. What type do most users lean to, class or custom? Oh, I think I already answered that one. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna go into ratings because these are where the questions are coming from. Okay, if I go over to templates, and now I have a mouse. This is great. And I apologize if the internet is slow. I promise you it's not the software. It's that I'm screen sharing with a ton of people right now. So if we're not on a screen share, the website and the software works a lot faster. So yeah, don't judge. Okay, so now we are going to click into the template settings. InterNACHI residential template, click it open. This is where you can change your display name for what the client sees versus what you see, because they don't need to know InterNACHI, they just need to know residential report. Active is what templates are pulled into your mobile. So if you have like a template that you're that you don't actually use for reports and you're just tinkering around with, you can deactivate it and make sure that your app doesn't have even more stuff loaded onto it. Okay, we're going to scroll down. Hold on. Can you guys see me and hear me? Okay, cool. Thank you. Phew. Okay. Was clicking around and nothing was happening, and I freaked out right there that I lost everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all said yes. I love you. Okay, so now we're gonna go to item ratings and go down. I know why. Hold on. User error. It was user error. I have my trackpad backwards, so I was literally scrolling into nothing. Good, good. No one saw. Okay, item ratings in template settings. User ratings, if you don't want any of those buttons whatsoever, if you just want a purely narrative-based report, you can use you can disable the ratings altogether. Display item ratings grid in report. That's if you want that grid, this guy, to show up to your clients. I'm seeing an increasing trend of inspectors who use the buttons to make sure they've hit everything, particularly if they have like a new trainee, but they don't like the way that this looks in the report and they don't want a grid anymore. And so they just go narratively based. And so they use the ratings for doing the inspection, but there is no grid in the report. Okay, so here, if you would like to read through and not have me kind of vaguely explain things and use my hands too much, there's the descriptions for classic ratings versus custom ratings over here. You would click this menu and it's a drop down of classic versus custom. In classic, you've got the inspected, not present, and defect categories. You can rename that defect whatever you want, that fourth category, the bad one. And this is where you would have the default item status. Most people have it as blank. I see some people choose inspected or not inspected. And so, yeah, so you can choose the defect rating or the default rating, which is what it would start at. But I do see most people go blank on that one so they can see what they've done. If you are in custom ratings, then you can scroll down here and you can select up to 8 buttons and name them whatever you will. And this would unlink. So you would see informational limitation and defect comments for all of these ratings, no matter what. These abbreviations are what the buttons look like on the app. And then these colors, if you'd like to select it, are what color the buttons turn to you, the inspector. It doesn't affect the client report at all. And then you can delete it here. If you want to click and drag these arrows, you can click and drag and reorder. So that works. Cool. Okay, and then you can add more if you want. I always like to point out, whenever you are making a template change. If you save, scroll down and save. Usually I'm a broken record with scroll down and save. If you save and make changes to your template, it will only affect reports built in the future. It will not affect currently existing reports. So say if you have a mock inspection, if you're a new user with us, and you have a mock inspection going and you make some template changes, to get those template changes reflected, you need to go and delete that report and generate a new one. And we don't have a way, unfortunately, to update the template on a report that already contains data. The best analogy that I have, well, I've got two actually, but the one I like better because I love cookies is the template is your cookie cutter, and the report that is assigned to a particular inspection is your actual cookie. So if I stamp out and take my cookie cutter and stamp out a cookie, my cookie is completely independent now. And if I bend the cookie cutter, I make a template change, it's not gonna affect an existing report. But if I crumple up and delete my cookie report and then stamp it out again, those changes will apply because it's a brand new cookie. The other story that we like to tell to kind of simulate that is if you have a date stamp, so you're stamping a date on a piece of paper, once the date is on that piece of paper, changing the date on the stamp isn't gonna change the stamp on the paper. There's a lot of words right there. I can also explain that better over the chat bubble if you guys would like. Okay. What other questions you got? Hit me. Template, reports, changes. Check that one off my list. Cool. Basics. Oh, average setup time for going live for a new user. The generic answer that I'm going to give you is it depends on how much time you put in and how tech savvy you are, and if you've ever used a web-based software before. Overall, we are told that we are actually extremely easy to learn. There's a lot more to learn than most just report editor softwares, because we include all of the functionality of ISN, basically with automated emails, payment portal, automatically generated agreements. We really try to be your one-stop shop for everything. So you just go to Spectora and you can run your whole home inspection business. And so there's more to learn for that. You need to learn how to set up your automated emails and templates and stuff like that. However, yours truly has made a lot of tutorial videos, some of which are only like a 7-minute video about how to set up your automated emails. So you can learn in manageable chunks. We actually have figured out that home inspectors are very kinetic. You guys need to touch. And so one of the best ways for you to learn, I actually would recommend downloading the app and doing a home inspection in your house and clicking around the app and getting a feel for it. The business tools will take a little bit to set up. I've seen people do them in a day. I've seen people take a couple months to figure it out and set it up. The important thing for you guys is that when you're learning and you're setting up, we are here to help. I'm not just doing this webinar and then I'm going to throw you to the wolves. We have a whole, I'll start this loading because that's going to take a minute. A whole YouTube channel that I'll show you the tutorials here in a second, but also the chat bubble down here in the corner. If we open it up, I already showed you on the app, but this chat bubble, we have 7-day-a-week tech support. We cover during the work week, at least, all the major US time zones. Major, there's no minor US time zones. Anyway, all the US time zones. So we are 7 a.m. Mountain Time to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And because we are a startup and we're here for your inspectors, for you guys as inspectors, we often check in after hours. We also have Saturday and Sunday hours. It's 9 to noon Mountain Time. And then who's ever on tech support that weekend, because we all rotate, additionally checks in several times throughout that afternoon. So there's almost no period of time where you're not going to get answers within, a couple hours. If it's during the workday, we take a ton of pride in our response time, and usually you can see the team typically replies in under 5 minutes. Alexis and I are in a battle right now. Both of us are actually under a minute in response time. So yeah, cool. So, but also to learn the software. Woo, Hold on, I gotta, too many screen share things. No, it hasn't loaded yet. There's too many videos. I've broken everything. Sorry, I just yelled. I forgot there was a microphone right in front of my face. Setup series playlist. Open it up into here. This one. I have broken down the software into manageable sections in the order that I think it's easy to go through. You can obviously jump around, but like setting up your profile, services, scheduler, how to edit your template, basics of the inspection details page, stuff like that. So if you're just starting learning with us, I highly recommend the setup series, not just because I did it, because I put a lot of time and effort into making it easy to understand for you guys. Cool. Go back out over here. When viewing a report, each section has tabs at the top, such as standards. How do you change or edit those? Ooh, good question. There are limitations of editing those tabs. You're stuck with the informational and limitation tags. You can click into the residential template, and under display options, you can, whoop, too many clicks, choose whether or not to display the standards of practice. So you can take away that standards of practice tab if you do not want that to display. But unfortunately, you're stuck with info and limitations for your tabs. We don't have custom tabs. How do you get to the setup video? Spectora.com, or excuse me, youtube.com/Spectora. And then there's playlists is one of the options on there, and it's the setup series playlist. If you type into the text board chat bubble, we can also easily send you that link. Yeah. Justin, my friend from Atlanta, typed in, and he says, #truth on the after hours answering. We always take pride in that. Cool. Okay, what Chuck is talking about with viewing the report, I'm gonna go back out over here with the tabs, the question I just answered. If I open up this inspection, slowly, and I view the report, this is not gonna be a terribly great example because it's not a very filled out report, but what he is talking about is this, I guess, there. Information tab, and then if you click this one, it displays the standards. Now, I also do want to mention, if you have the standards of practice included in your report for the PDF, which is available for everybody viewing the web report, it's this PDF button up here. The standards of practice get grouped together at the very end of the PDF, and so they'll take each from every section and put them in a standards of practice section. Cool. Can you send bills through Spectora for another service besides inspections? Not necessarily. You can add a fee to an existing inspection or schedule an inspection that doesn't have a report attached to it and create, say, a line item for whatever you're trying to charge outside of our payment processing. And so what I'm talking about is if we go back to inspection details over here, we don't have fees that are not attached to an inspection. Now your inspection could be completely fake if you just want to use our payment processor, or if you would like to say, I'm blanking, I'm terrible at improv, but at least you guys know what I'm talking about because I don't need to improv all this. I don't know, a contractor or something like that. If you want to pay them through there, you could create an inspection and add a fee to it here. And then you would click these 3 dots and open it up, and you can edit fees and payments. Whoop, slowly, come on little guy. And you can add a line item, which will display on the invoice for whatever fee you want, and tax. We added tax for our Canadian friends. In the United States, services like home inspections are not taxable. Some people, tricky, use our tax in the United States to cover the credit card processing fee if you want to put that on the client. I do want to make it clear that the client can see this on the invoice. We had somebody be like, try to sneaky use tax for to cover their credit card processing and didn't disclose that, and the client got pretty mad at him. So be transparent, people. But yeah, anyway, so you would add a line item fee, and then if you, I always like to point this out, If you received a payment, you can view it here. And you can also add different types like cash, check, on-site card, or other. If someone paid you in a pig or a barter system, I don't know. So, okay, now we're gonna scroll down and then you would hit save. Scroll down, hit save. Cool. Cool, how do you get to set up video? We covered that. Now I'm scrolling down. Will you be reviewing the metrics screen? Yes, and I will show you a special treat. Okay, so right now, if I go to the drop-down menu of my name, that's Mike's picture and Johnny Test is the name of our test account. You can go to metrics and open it up. And right now, this is our test account, so it's going to be real weird with these, and it's gonna take a second to load because I'm sharing it with so many people. But this is our basic metrics. So this is actually one of the things that I was talking about before when Justin asked about our development timeline. An advanced metrics dashboard is one of the things that we are including in this next big major release. And so this is currently what everybody has. Hopefully at the end of Q1, fingers crossed, we'll have it all completed and figured out with development. And I'll show you here in a second our advanced metrics dashboard, which we are super proud of, and Tyler was crazy awesome at developing. Okay, so we've got inspections by year. So blue is that guy, and you can see how many inspections you've done. You've got referral sources here, unknown, mostly because we schedule them as fakes. Online scheduler, when you're scheduling, input a referral source in there, it would track them as well here. Top agents. Sorry, that was funny. Soren Potato is the name of my dog. Okay, I didn't know we used him as an agent ever in here. That's funny. We've got a sense of humor here at Spectora. Okay, so we've got revenue, payments received. You can click on that and see your different payments. You can also access that by using your drop-down menu, your name, and then go to payments. And you can see your average revenue over time. Your inspection locations. Okay, now to the fun one. And here's a tip and a trick. We don't have a user-facing button for it right now. And if you're watching this in the future, today is February 7th. If you're watching this after Q1 has been released, you might already see this. Okay, I'm gonna go dash and then dashboard. So Spectora.com metrics dashboard. And that's the sneaky way to get to our advanced metrics right now. So we don't have a button for it on Spectora.com because it's going to replace the metrics button for right now. Ooh, the crowd goes wild. So we've got Spectora metrics. You're going to be able to see inspections, and you can choose the timeline by month, by week. Revenue, month, week, year is over here. You can change how these grids are displayed. As part of our advanced package, you would be able to create even your more advanced metrics if you guys want crazier stuff than this. Revenue by charge is what we're calling like a service, because not necessarily all of them are services. So it's like if there's an inspection fee, another fee that's added, residential extra inspection fee. So this is going to be your metric for revenue by service, or how much you gave out by a discount, since that was also requested. How much each referral source has brought into you, your top agents, stuff like that. And then you're going to be able to make your own. But yeah, it looks real cool. This is a very brief overview of this. And this is super beta that I'm showing you right now. And so you can use that metrics dashboard. It's live for you guys right now, so you can go in there and see your own data. But there's no link from the website currently. Yeah, when we do actually debut that to the public, full on crazy full time, I'm pretty sure we'll have Tyler do it. We'll give you a more advanced video about how to do all this good stuff. Cool. Okay. If you haven't already answered this, I apologize. Answer or ask your questions. Will additional payment methods functionality be implemented? PayPal. Ooh, okay. Here's another fun thing I'm going to show you. We have a features roadmap that you guys can see what we're working on and what's been requested. Yes, eventually down the road, we expect to get to PayPal. Currently, inspectors were looking for a lower processing fee, and we hope to give that through our Spectora payments which if you just jumped on this call, we have Spectora payments now. We partnered with Stripe to negotiate a lower credit card processing fee. It's 2.75% plus the 30-cent transaction fee. Most other service providers are 2.9%, so you're going to get a discount with us, which is awesome. I know you guys are very conscious of your overhead. PayPal has been requested. It's apparently a very intense development, and so it is on our list. We are going to do it at some point. I do not know when. Okay, this features roadmap. Maybe. Come on, you're making me look like a fool in front of my friends. Okay, we'll let it load here for a minute. There's a lot of stuff to load on that page. But I'll show you that in a minute. You can see what we're actively developing on, what's on deck, or what will be next. If you are a paying user, you can upvote or downvote on ideas and features, and we actually do look at those votes and see how many users are demanding it. Cool. Yeah. All right. Chad Smith, apologize ahead of time. Late to the webinar. You're okay. Will this recording be available offline? Since I missed the first hour. Technically not offline, so it's going to be on YouTube. But yes, it takes a little while for this recording to condense and then for me to upload it to YouTube and add the fun thumbnail, cover art, and stuff like that. So expect it on the Facebook group or on the YouTube page, both accessible, by tomorrow afternoon at the latest. Yeah. So yes, you will be able to rewatch all of this and see my nonsense. Is there no way to make the client pay for the credit card processing? Well, there's a couple different ways to make the client pay for the credit card processing. You can do the math ahead of time, to be honest with you. And if you want your base price to be $300, say, and just for the sake of this math, and there is no way there's like a 10% processing fee, but I'm bad at math, so forgive me in this moment. If you have like a 10% tax or a 10% processing fee, you could build it into your base price. And so for a $300 inspection, you would automatically charge someone $330 or something like that and have it included in the base price, and then you're covered. And then you'd be able to have some sort of discount to say, if you pay in check or cash, I will give you a $30 discount. So you can build it into your base price, or you could use the tax. If we go to settings and then down to, I believe it's in payments. Come on, little internet, catch up with me. There we go. Scroll down. I might have to enable it on this side. I don't think we have it on our test count, but the tax options. No, I feel like they're in here. There's a lot of stuff. Even I need to remember things and click through them. I'll figure out how to put the tax on. You stumped me. Yes, I can't remember how to get to the taxes in this moment. Oh, it's in service and fees. Staring me right in the face. Okay. So we go to services and fees, and we go in here. You can add taxes right here at the bottom. Whew, didn't stump me, just took a little bit. But you can rename the tax credit card processing fee and then add a percentage into the thousands if you would like. And so you could say credit card processing fee on here if you would like, and then if they don't end up paying with credit card or with cash, you can delete that off the invoice, which would be good. Yes, so my objection earlier when I was telling you about that person who had the clients get a little angry was when they did not change this name from tax to credit card fee, and it seems like they were charging them for something that they were not doing. Cool. All right, hopefully that wasn't too crazy of a roundabout nonsense thing. Okay, well, discounts while I'm here. Currently, we only have negative value fees, not percentages. So you would have to manually calculate that percentage out. It's on the development row list. Ooh, let's see if that loaded. All right, I'm going to leave it here for a second. Yeah. We're in development to get discount codes to be a thing. So you can say for January, here's 10% off. So we will be getting to that here soon. All right, our Trello board. We've got new submissions. This MPMA 33. We plan on having it be one of the first tasks that our developer does. taking templates and connecting them to make them be a legally necessary PDF is pretty code intensive. And so we're going to have, excuse me, we're going to have the new developer do that to kind of get a feel for the system, which is good. So that's coming soon. Okay, Java class, major enhancement ideas, minor enhancement ideas. Coming soon is the stuff that we agree we need in our big major ideas, such as an agent app, where there would be Spectora for agents, and they'd be able to select their favorite Spectora inspectors on there and have like an easy scheduler to go back. Currently, if you have our online scheduler enabled or the inspection request form, if you have an agent who's particularly loyal to you or gives you referrals and wants to be able to schedule you directly, we actually highly recommend that you tell them, and I mean most of them know at this point, that they can take the link to your online scheduler or inspection request form and save it as an app to the home screen on their phone. So you've created your own little app right there directly to your schedule, which is pretty cool. Cool. We keep scrolling across. Under development, we've got automated emails, revised system, rebuild, all that stuff. We are in development for America's call center right now. Our developers are working with their developers. Integrations are certainly not an on switch or an off switch. And then what's in beta testing right now, what we have already released, and then what we've released previously, which is pretty cool. And this is public facing. You can see this at any point. And then, like I said, if you're a paying user, you can sign up for a Trello account and integrate it with your Spectora account. And that's how we have these little votes on here to be able to crop or magnify pictures. 50 votes up. That's part of the photo plugin. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff about our photo plugin that we want to upgrade to. So that's good. Okay, back to services. And I'm going to shut that guy down. So I'm using less information. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions while we are on it? We have about 20 minutes left. I do have a couple tips and tricks and advanced tips and tricks if nobody has questions. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to type while I look at my notes. Cool. Let's go to mobile settings gallery. A couple basics. Mostly every time I had a more basic question come up on tech support today, I wrote it down. We've had a little bit of confusion that honestly never happened in my first, almost year of working here up until recently, of people trying to use create multiple user accounts for the same email. We create accounts for buyers or clients, agents and inspectors based off of their email. So everybody has to have a different email. That's because it's your login, and that's how we can tell who is different and apart. So everybody needs a different email. Advanced tips and tricks. This shout out actually goes to Ryan Howell, because we get a lot of questions asked about cloud storage and CYA pictures. Okay, so we store everything containing to your inspection with the agreements and the reports and the pictures that are contained within your reports to our cloud. Now, we are not strictly saying a cloud storage service. I'm trying to be careful with my words here because there are different meanings behind them. So if you have a huge bundle of CYA pictures that you would like that are not in your report, I actually recommend that you use a service like Dropbox or Google Drive, something like that. They're great at data storage, and there's a lot of them that are free up until like huge amounts of data. So that's free, and they're backed up. But there is one tip, trick, workaround that sneaky Ryan Howell out of California taught me at the Vegas convention that was like last October or something, September. So if you create a report And we open it up and we scroll down. Oh yeah, if you're just joining, my internet is very slow because we're sharing with like 30 people right now. The normal software is very much faster than this. Okay, we scroll down. What he did is he created a section. We're going to create a new blank section here called CYA photos. And it is in his template. And he created a new section in this. And when he goes around on an inspection, he takes all of his CYA photos that are not in a comment into just a general information comment here, like general photos. And then save. Now, because he does not want the client or the agents, so you can drag and drop or use the uploader into this little area. Because he does not want the client or the agent be able to see them, at the end of the inspection, I guess I don't really need to add a photo for this example, he will go through and he will delete this CYA section. However, we covered this in mobile if you're just new and catching up. Anything that is deleted in the reports and nearly everything that's in the inspection can be recovered. There's a couple things that we can't, so don't hold my feet to the fire on that one. But we have an awesome undelete function because things get accidentally deleted all the time, and we are taking up a ton of developer time trying to recover things for inspectors who are having heart attacks. So now in the client-facing report editor, you don't see the CYA report photos anymore. If I click this plus section button, and if I ever needed to go back and grab that CYA, if you click into the undeleted sections, you can click into it and undelete it. So technically, because the photos are within the report, we store them. However, the client and the agent's not going to see it unless you undelete them. So you're going to be able to store them within the report. They're going to be nicely organized. It's sneaky, and you can take advantage of that delete, undelete button. So that's a pretty cool, fun, advanced trick that a user taught me. Very creative thinking, Ryan. Cool. I'm still not seeing any new questions, so I'm just gonna kind of keep chugging along until I see one with some more advanced tips and tricks or FAQs off of tech support. I had a question yesterday about when you are scheduling, is there a way if you have a reoccurring client, not an agent? Usually it's like a property inspection or a property management company or something like that. Since we don't per se have an auto-populate feature for the client, let me type in 22 South Logan, 80209. Have that populate. That's Zillow pulling up. So if we keep on scrolling past the clients and the services, if I were to type in, say, Kevin's name, it would auto-populate for all of the agents that are already in our system. However, there aren't that many repeat clients, or at least not that we knew of when we were designing this scheduler. There is a sneaky backdoor workaround that gives you an auto-populate where you don't have to enter first name, last name, email, your transaction agent, if there is one on their phone, referral source on there. And what you do is, because we store contacts based off of the email, like I told you how everybody needs a new username, if I were to type Casey@Spectora.com in here and then completely ignore the rest of this area and go down here and hit save inspection, what it's going to do is it's going to say, oh, I know that email, and trust me, I'm going to now scroll down to the inspection I just scheduled. And if we, moment of truth, open up the inspection, you'll see that I auto-populated myself because it already had a client's contact card for me. So the sneaky way to auto-populate clients, the way that agents can auto-populate, is to put in the email, and it'll pull everything that you have from your client information. So that's a fun, sneaky, tricky one. Cool. Copying a report. That happened today. If I go to dashboard, And this is great for re-inspections. So it's very, very easy to copy a report that's already existing into another inspection. Great for re-inspections, like I just said. So if I scroll down here, got to move my group chat out of the way. These three little dots that are next to each report, if I click one of them, I can copy. And then I can type in, oh, it's for Kevin Wagstaff. And it will pull up all of the inspections that I have for Kevin Wagstaff. That was a terrible example, really, because we basically we use them for every client. But say I have the test inspection is for 66 South Logan. Oh my God, that was an even worse one. 27, that's for today. That's actually this inspection. This is what happens when I try to fly by the seat of my pants. Anyway, point of this is I select an inspection that I want to send the report to. So if you schedule an inspection for a re-inspection, I can then copy the report that I just selected over to the other inspection. That's great for re-inspections because then you can delete the sections you don't need or duplicate them and then rename them re-inspections so they have a comparison. But it's really easy to copy a report between inspections. Cool. So there's that. What else do we got? CYAs, need different username, auto-populate. I get asked a lot how to get to the invoice and where the agent and the client can find the invoice. If we click the client agent view down here, this is the link that is usually, unless you edited it, in your confirmation email out to the client, the triggered automatic one. And we scroll down here and the invoice is always available in this additional documents. So you can open it up and see your invoice. Now you can also download this, print it, have it for your records, stuff like that. Yep. And you can choose on a company-wide level whether or not you want the breakdown for why it costs $500 when your base is $300, or you can just show the line item residential inspection, $500. So that's up to you. Okay, we can click back over here. Still not seeing any new questions. What's another fun one I get a lot? Invoice looks great. Is there a way to do a watermark of a logo? On the invoice, your logo is actually on there. And so I'm not sure why we would also need a watermark. We don't have the logos right there. That's just the logo we have uploaded for Denver Home Inspection because I was showing someone how to upload a logo. But if this was your inspection company, this logo would be yours. Yeah, so you wouldn't really need a watermark. It's up there. Cool. For replay client agent fix, ability to link app to contacts on mobile device. Yeah, that's actually a request that we've been getting a lot lately. And when we go through at the end of Q1, I believe updating the scheduler on the mobile app to include contacts from the mobile device is on the list. Yep, and actually tomorrow afternoon, we're doing a product development meeting of all these fun ideas and like more options for customizing the online scheduler to allow for more questions and stuff like that. So we do take your feedback back into account. And I do think that updating the scheduler on the app is definitely gonna happen right after we finish this major development. So that's pretty cool. Hey, cool. What else we got? I guess a basic timeline is one that I get a lot from people. All right, so you are going to be reached out to schedule your own inspection. You would do this plus new inspection button. So if a client contacts you and says, I want an inspection, you can schedule it that way. Or like if you have an office staff, they would do that and be able to assign inspectors and such. You can also use the online scheduler and you can use the inspection request form to get those scheduled. Once it is confirmed, upon confirming, it's gonna be easiest if I click into automations right now. The scheduling email, the confirmation email will be triggered to be sent to the clients and the agent. This usually contains a link to that client portal. You can edit it if you would like. Say if you don't use our payment processor or something like that, or one of our integrations, if you want to continue to use PayPal or Venmo. But that client portal is where your clients and agents are going to go to sign their agreement, pay, ultimately view their reports, all that good stuff. I guess that's another FAQ that I get a lot. Our agreements are web-based. They're part of that client portal. They're not a manual attachment to this email. So it's a link that they would click to see the agreement. If you ever add a new agreement or a new fee, you can have this automatic email go out. And so that the client or the agent knows that there's a new action item that they need to perform, signing a new agreement or paying you more money. Cool. Then leading up to the inspection, you can have up to 3 emails and 2 text messages go out, and you can customize what each say for the client's agent, or the listing agent. Usually the client is, thank you so much for your business. Remember to go pay me. Remember to sign the agreement. Anything that you usually do in your business I usually do a walkthrough at the beginning or the end. Make sure you're there for that, stuff like that. And you can, for these reminders, you can choose if you want them hours, days, weeks, months ahead of time. And so the most common pre-inspection email and text message reminders that I see are 1 week before, 1 day before, and then 2 hours before. But you can choose whatever you would like. Scroll down. The report ready email gets triggered when you hit publish. So you've done the inspection, you've edited your report, you're confident in it, and you want to now send it to the client or the agent. You would hit the publish button either on your app or on Spectora.com. And what that does is it sends a report ready email that you can customize here, and send it out to the client and the agent, letting them know that the report is now ready. The system will default to not letting them see the report if there is an unsigned agreement on the inspection, or if you have not been paid. There is no override for an unsigned agreement unless you delete the agreement off there completely. But you can choose to unlock the report if you haven't had a payment received. And you can do that in the edit fees area, or during scheduling, you can override it. But it will default to you need to be paid and everything needs to be signed for them to even see their report. Then after, when you get this report ready email and that gets sent out, and you publish, that triggers post-inspection follow-ups to be sent to everybody. Oh, before I forget, you'll notice that you only have 2 options here, the client and the agent. That's because it's illegal in most places to send the report directly to the listing agent. We don't want anybody getting in trouble. So we don't actually give that as an automated email option. If you get permission from the client to the agent, they want to send the report to the listing agent, there's an easy share button for the inspection that you can send them, or you can manually grab the report right now. That's also a feature update we're going to do soon, is a share just report option instead of having to share the entire inspection or do it manually. To the listing agent or the property manager or something like that, you can. But there is not a listing agent automated email. You can also choose, by the way, to get notifications to you, the inspector, when the client or the agent views the report, so you can keep track of all that stuff. Even without that turned on, when the client and the agent first views it, is visible in the inspection details page. Cool. Post-inspection, you can have up to 3 emails and 2 text messages. These are great places to ask for reviews, which, by the way, we love you all. Our business is also based off of reviews. And so please, 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 if you have a moment and feeling grateful for this webinar, please, please, please go on to Capterra and leave Spectora a review, or go on the Google App Store or the Android App Store and leave us a review. We would super, super appreciate it. We think you're great. We hope you think we're great. Anyway, cool. In these follow-up emails and text messages, the normal frequencies that we see that get the most amount of reviews are 1 hour after the inspection. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. 7 days after the inspection. So they've got 1 week to view the report, kind of get settled. And then the third follow-up, 30 days later, or excuse me, 21 days later is the one that we found kind of worked best for soliciting reviews. So you've got the 1 hour, the 7 days, and the 21, but you can of course use that for everything. And this email automation area is part of what we're expanding and working on to be released at the end of Q1 for you to be able to trigger anything that you would like, such as if you wanted to trigger a 1-year email for everybody who got just a radon service instead of just everybody who got an inspection, you would be able to with the expanded automated emails, which is pretty cool. Yeah, follow up how they got delivered. I think we're good on that one. All right, Justin wants to know, is there a way to see which reports have been sent from the All tab and the dashboard? Not on the app, unfortunately, but you do have a cheat sheet. If you go to the inspections tab over here, that'll take a second to load because I'm sharing with so many peeps. These icons that are over here are actually sortable columns. You can click on them. By the way, a lot of people don't know that, is you can sort by your paid or your unpaid or chronologically. But this is an unsigned agreement. This is you have not been paid. This is it has not been published. If I scroll down, let's see if we even have one. I don't have one easily available, so I'll just describe it. On this published report in here, the inspection, that if the client or the agent had viewed it, it would turn into a green check mark instead of a green paper airplane. So you can see on the inspections tab what's been paid, what's been signed, what's been published, and what's been viewed. I think somebody just turned on their microphone. And would you please mind turning it off? Ooh, you're in trouble. Thank you. Okay. Mostly because this is recording and that's going up on YouTube, my friend. All right, is there a limit on how many fees can be created? No, besides it gets confusing to clients and agents if we're using our online scheduler or our, I guess just the online scheduler. So if we go to settings, does my iPad have flash? Yeah, yep. Okay, sorry, jumping around a lot. If we go to services and fees and we click it and open it up, got to move the chat out of the way.
I mean, not really.
Yep. Hey, my friends, I think one of you guys has a video on. Hold on. If you have your microphone turned on, can you please turn it off, my friends? Mute all, I found it. Okay, cool. You're going up on YouTube now, haha. Okay, cool. You can set up services and fees over here. Residential inspection, radon, all that kind of stuff. You can add as many services as you want in here. Usually I see people either do one per service, a residential, radon, sewer scope, something like that, or they do it a package base of gold, silver, bronze. Within each service, you can click residential inspection. And you can add name of service, base cost, base duration, templates. You can have modifiers for square footage, age of home, year bill, zip code, miles away from company address for a distance modifier. And so you can modify your pricing down here, but then you can also add add-on services. So like these would only be eligible, like if there's a residential inspection, these would be a secondary drop down of add-ons or upsales that are available for you to select. I just tried to read and talk at the same time and didn't work. Was that a quote drop down? Yeah, I was just showing someone how to collect or select a service. It's not actually a quote on there. It was just a word. I probably should have deleted it before I confused people. Well, I mean, I guess you could have a quote service in there and then just confirm an inspection and call it a quote service, but that would be a little confusing. Yeah, so it's just a fake service on there because we're in the test account. You're going to find a lot of weird stuff in here. Okay, we've got add-on, sewer scope. There's no limit to how many you can have in here. Then you can add taxes here at the bottom. And then you can have a crazy list on here. Yeah. Cool. We're going up. Yeah. All right. Does anyone have any further questions before I wrap this up? I'll give you a couple seconds. While everyone's thinking and typing, to give people more time in this to prepare and figure out questions or schedule it ahead of time. My next one is February 19th from 2 to 4. We've kind of settled on this 2 to 4 time slot because it's available for everybody's time zones and not too late for some people. I will be posting these links up on the video recording of this up on the YouTube channel. The YouTube is youtube.com/Spectora. We've got a ton of great videos up on there. Kevin has a phenomenal podcast called Spectora Spotlight, where he interviews everybody throughout the industry. Number one was one of the Grimico brothers. We've done the top producing agent in Colorado. We just did a couple of inspectors that we met in San Diego who are awesome guys. Twice is hilarious, his podcast. And then we just did one of my favorite users, shamelessly one of my favorite users, mostly because he sends me cookies and toffee and chocolate all the time. Bill Howardy out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He's just the coolest guy to talk to and just so sweet. So that podcast is up. It's available on Spotify and pretty much anywhere you get podcasts. It's called Spectora Spotlight, and Kevin does a really great job with it. You'll be able to access it by tomorrow afternoon. Check out more tutorial videos. Chat bubble available. Ask us a ton of questions. You're never a bother. We love hearing from you guys. And then, if you guys do have a chance, we would really, really appreciate a Capterra review or an Apple or Android App Store review. We're a review-based driven business as well. So, all right. I really appreciated how great you guys were and how many questions got asked on the chat and waiting for my, pages to load and everything and your patience. You guys are wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I hope you guys all stay warm. For those who are experiencing the blizzard like we are, it's sunny right now, but it blizzarded this morning. Cool, tech support chat bubble, YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Don't be afraid to ask questions. All right, bye guys.